welcome to this special edition of After Hours.
Yes. We, for those of you who haven't joined us for After Hours, we like to talk after our regular podcasts about movie adaptations or other characters rather than just the ones that we talk about in our podcast. So welcome to an After Hours about the Deathly Hallows, Part 1.
Now, just so you know, if you loved listening to our After Hours,
Yes.
our After Hours are typically posted on our Patreon.
Mm-hmm.
So you do have to become a patron to access those. So if you do enjoy what you see today, feel free to hop over there so you can access all of our unfiltered, unedited comments about whatever we happen to be talking about. Which, as India said, today is Deathly Hallows Part 1.
Yeah, and that you get the access to all the video content at the queen level. So who doesn't want to be queen? So join that over on our Patreon. And then today is going to be our nice introduction to the rest of the world. So hello, world.
Yes. Yes. We thought for the spooky season that we would have a bonus surprise episode launch on YouTube. So here we are today. So without further ado, let's dive into Deathly Hallows Part 1. Ooh. So this is one of the later movies. So like the special effects are really good. We've now had like a consistent director for a little bit. Like
David Yates is the director. He's been, I believe it was movie 5 he joined in on.
I think so too.
It was David Yates. And this movie was released in 2010. The writers on it were Steve Kloves and J.K. Rowling. Steve Kloves did everything but book 5 was the only book he could not, movie he could not do. And it also has one of my favorite composers, Alexander Desplat. I don't know.
It's
how
French,
to say.
So you're gonna like cut off the last couple letters. Like just don't say them. Just like
Desplat. But I love him as a composer. I should probably know how to pronounce his name. So he did like Grand Budapest Hotel, The Shape of Water, all of that. So I was really excited. I'm like, oh, he did this one because I really loved that as well. And it was the only movie split into 2. Because the working script was 5.5 hours long if they wanted to do it in one shot.
Oh my gosh.
So.
It's for sure. For this one particular fun fact, I went to the opening night screening of this one.
I'm pretty sure I did too.
Very excited. We were seated far too close. So that when Nagini came out of poor Bathilda, I just about peed myself. And I knew it was coming. I'd read all the books. Like I know. But when you're 3 feet from the screen, she be terrifying. So
I did not know it was coming because I did not read the books first before I saw this movie. So yes, I was impressed with the dark tone rewatching it and after reading it. Like they went very dark.
It was supposed to be darker. So for example, in the Snatcher scene, when the Snatchers successfully get the trio. So there actually was a moment where Fenrir was supposed to beat up Ron, and they filmed it. They filmed him physically beating up Ron. And that did not make it into the final cut because, there's that balance. It is darker. I would argue that this last book is adult. Like adult fiction. So, or not fiction, adult fantasy, what am I saying? But I think that they were like, they were able to go a little dark, but they still have to keep in mind that the audience is still young. So there's those limits of how dark can we go without like crossing that. And there were a lot of those moments of like, we filmed this stuff and then cut it back to make it a little more appropriate. I also love all of the different moments that they were thinking about ending this first one, because originally it was supposed to end when they make it to Malfoy Manor.
Oh, okay.
It was supposed to end with Harry being forced up against that gate and with Bellatrix looking up into them, like with the potential of, oh my gosh, she's got him. One of the big reasons they decided not to do that was Dobby. They thought it would be more fulfilling if Dobby was not split up into 2 movies, but instead had his full arc in one. So you are left with still, there was always going to be a question of like, ooh, what comes next? Regardless of what happens. Oh, my eyes keep doing that weird green screen thing.
Yeah, you get enjoy the green screen fun with
anyway.
things.
Sorry, Ron's demon eyes. Back to Dobby. So they thought it would be more fulfilling and more sad if they ended that way, and there would always be a question of like what happens next, no matter where they ended, because obviously a lot happens in this book.
Yeah.
So why not end it where at least they've completed this arc and it ends very bittersweet.
Yes.
And what is next? And obviously it was devastating. Even those who knew it was coming.
Yeah.
We all cried.
Yeah. Yeah.
You realize Dobby a free elf.
Yeah. I was not ready for that, having not read the books yet. And I rewatching it, my notes on Dobby were, he's like, Dobby is a free elf. And I'm like, yes, you are. I was so excited for him. And his moment with Bellatrix is just so good. That I'm happy they ended it there. Like that was such a good
choice.
And then when you have Voldemort coming through with the one, like that's a good place to end.
Yeah,
for this series, I think, or for this part one.
This part one. Yeah.
So I was really happy with that.
Dobby unscrewing. I love that they kept that.
Yes.
Like him unscrewing the chandelier. Like what a funny moment to break such a terrifying and terrible tension.
Yes.
Of just like just unscrewing the chandelier.
Yeah, I love that.
That was really, really beautiful. Sorry, we're gonna be hopping around all over.
It's a free for all. Like this is just very
welcome to After Hours, guys. Yeah. This is not how our episodes are. Our regular podcast episodes are structured.
Who is she?
We don't know her.
But another moment that they cut back on a lot that they filmed was the torture scene with Bellatrix and Hermione, because they filmed a lot more of it. But what would have had to happen is it would have gone up in ratings in both the UK and with the beatings, and with that, like there are a lot of things that they didn't want it to be R. They didn't want it to be. I think in the UK it's 15, so there's like another level that they would have.
And it was hard on the actors. Yeah. Tom Felton and Danny Radcliffe were all like running. They're running into the room because they truly thought there was something wrong.
Yeah.
Is how harsh and demanding that was. And Helena Bonham Carter, who is phenomenal.
Yes.
Felt like absolute garbage after, which I don't blame you. I feel like they all needed a therapy day.
Yeah.
Or Emma Watson needed a break after. Like,
you have to. And that's what I do appreciate is that I read that Helena Bonham Carter, right after the cutting it, checked in with Emma Watson, like, are we okay? Are you like,
sure.
like that there was the understanding that you're both going to go to a very hard place to go to.
Yeah.
Crazy and torture, but that the actresses seem to take care of each other, which is really great, because that's the only way that moment could get really meta and it could get very like really dangerous. A lot of other actors have gotten too dangerous and too far. So I appreciate the actresses checked in with each other, and even if you had to spend some time apart,
that's so stressful. Like, absolutely.
Yeah. So I did appreciate that about the actresses taking care of each other with that. Directorially, I really liked the beginning of it. I like that we saw her erase the memories. I like that Harry said goodbye to the house. There are moments that you see that the world is now different after movie 6, book 6. So I really appreciated how it started, and that we see the seriousness and the gravity of the changed world beginning.
I am bummed though with the beginning, because, and I understand why directorially he cut this from it, but I wish it was still in there, because I think this is really important. They filmed the whole, like, fully filmed, fully edited. They literally just cut it out of the final cut. Is of 2 scenes. One of them is which happens a little bit in the books, but it is explored a little further. So this moment I didn't mind as much that it wasn't in there, but still was a bummer. Is Petunia and her moment where in the book she's left in the house alone, and she's about to say something but doesn't, and leaves. In the movies, they did film it, and she says, that day you didn't just lose your mother, I lost my sister. And then moves out. And moves away from the house. So that that was a little bit of a bummer because like seeing that after the fact was like, oh my gosh, my heart. And also another scene that made it almost to the final cut was Dudley's redemption. And that moment I think is really, really cool too. And if you haven't seen it, go look it up. It's you can find it so easily because it made it so far in the process. And that is they're packing up, they're leaving. And Dudley is like, why isn't he coming with us? And finishes with, well, I don't think you're a waste of space. And it's that reconciling, which you don't get in the movies, because in the books there are little moments where he leaves out tea for Harry, and like he really appreciates that Harry saved him in the prior book. And so it would have been kind of nice to have that little moment. I do understand that they're trying to set that presence, but that was a really powerful scene that I'm very disappointed was cut out of the final cut.
I get why they cut it, but it would have been nice to have that wrap up with the family, because we have seen them so much in the movies and in the book. It would have been nice to be a little more satisfying in the leaving, but the overall idea of the gravity of shift of the universe is felt.
Oh, for sure.
Which I really like. And I like the green overtone given to the Malfoy Manor scene. It's that little like green coloration that I really appreciate. I really like it. Oh, Bill gets introduced. We get Bill in this. I'm so sad. This is where, and can we talk about the mangled face? The mangled face.
It's not
which
mangled.
Is like too like it's. And what makes me upset in the film, it looks
they brush over it.
Yeah, they brush over the fact he was attacked by a werewolf. Fleur doesn't get her big book 6 blow up, and then the mangling of it is just like two like theater scars. Like it's not.
He still looks very fine. And it also takes away Fleur. Speaking of moments for Fleur, she is one of the strongest against when they're all figuring out once they get to the burrow in the books. She's like, someone betrayed us and we need to be focusing on that.
I love
she's
that.
the one to keep redirecting everybody. Like, this is what we got. This is who made it. There is nothing we can do about those who are fallen. This is what we need to get to next. Like, which like, get it, girl. And we did not get that from this movie. Although we did get a fun moment where, if you are, those of you who do not know, Mad-Eye Moody, the actor who plays Mad-Eye Moody, is the father of the actor who plays Bill Weasley. So he did get to say that his father, he did enjoy saying that, like, Moody's dead. And it was like his job to be like, he's dead. My dad said, but it's not my dad, but like,
that's a fun connection in the film. I think they got a good actor for Bill. I was like, sure, could have showed off some makeup, could have
but I guess they also couldn't because they didn't see him before. You don't get any of that. Like, he's so handsome and so charming and so wonderful before, but we did not meet him. We see a picture of him, which like is its own thing. It's a little bummer that they couldn't be introduced, but once again, like, get it, we have to like cut things down.
And we never meet Charlie, right? Like Charlie just doesn't.
Charlie
is
only a picture. That's its own. That's its own rage monster. Yeah. So I mean, whatever. Something I wanted to ask you about, or tell you about rather, which I thought was very interesting. So in the series, they have the one director for each movie. And obviously we talked about it changes a little bit. In this movie, they have 2 directors. They hired another director to come in who is his name is Ben Hibben, and he did his specialty was short films. And because they wanted to do something they had never done in the Harry Potter series before. The 2 brothers, they wanted to, or the 3 brothers, I can count the 3 brothers. I just went full death there where I just can't see the 3rd one. So I said 2. The 3 brothers story, they decided there were all these different ways that they could do it. They were like, Hermione could read the whole thing. They could have them all take turns reading the whole thing. And they're like, visually that may not be as appealing. So they decided to go with an animation for the 3 brothers. Still with Hermione narrating it, but it's just visually makes sense for a movie. So they hired Ben Hibben to come and direct specifically that portion, still in collaboration with David Yates, but like to specifically do this very whimsical, simple, very old German style of filmmaking and not filmmaking, but storytelling with the cutouts.
Yeah.
To make that. I thought that was very interesting. And I wanted to see what you thought about, you know, you have this major motion series where motion pictures where they have these big directors. And now for this one moment, they decided this is not our wheelhouse. Let's hire somebody on.
I adored that section of this film. Like
I
haven't watched it in a while, and I was like, this is stunning because it looks almost like shadow puppets, but when they have the light filtering on them, it's almost a 3D sculpt of things. And it was very German, like expressionism in the elongating of the hands and kind of the spindliness of death, and even the brothers. And I just thought it was absolutely stunning as a section. And I think it makes sense because it is a very unique style. One, animation's very different, like it's a very unique thing. But the idea of the three brothers story it is a short film in itself. You can take it out and plop it. I think it's very smart to hire someone else to do it because what I thought was really impressive is that it didn't feel out of place.
No,
I was actually really surprised at how smoothly it kind of transitions into this little film, but
it's beautifully done.
It was so beautifully done, and it is unique because we do need the full story. And
you do.
You have to have it in this film. Yeah. And it was a much more visually entertaining thing to watch. And I thought it was, I think bringing in someone with this German, you can tell that it's a German expressionistic like animation. I thought it was genius, and it felt like old school telling of a fairy tale. Like the Grimms obviously were a big part of the fairy tale lore, which we talked about in season 1 a little bit. But I love that they brought in someone else who was an expert, because if they didn't, it would have felt like someone who didn't really have an in-depth understanding to do it. So I just wrote down multiple, like, I love this. This is beautiful. This is like so artistically different, but fits the dark tone of the movie. So I think the tone is actually very fluid. Right. It was, because you don't want like some like sparkly little animation. Like,
right. Things. No, it wouldn't work. Yeah, with the theme of it.
Yeah, it was absolutely stunning, but the tone and the dark tone of the movie still worked well together. So you could tell that they weren't fighting each other, which is a big deal. And it was just stunning.
That was beautiful.
I love it. It's such a cool, unique part of this specific film. And
no, I enjoy this. I think this is really, this movie in particular of all of the movies was kind of that moment of in the fandom where it's like, this is it.
Yeah.
This is because it's like, you know, the books are finished. These last two movies were the last tastes of the world. Yeah. So everyone was it was like heading towards that climax, that anticipation. Yeah. You know, just in the fandom as a whole, whether you read the books or not. And I think that it like, I don't know, it was really cool.
Really good.
And it cracks me up too that at this point, obviously the world is incredibly established. Yeah. The wizarding world in our reality too is also incredibly established. It is very successful. They have plenty of money. Yes. So what really cracks me up is, so it was literally cheaper for them to build an entire privet drive, to build an entire thing. Okay. They do that. They have Voldemort where they're putting literal gelatin into his forehead and CGI, you know, to make it so it moves organically. They're doing all of this stuff. I mean, it is amazing. They built the whole scene where they, where Ron destroys the locket. Like they built that. They built the forest. Like, you know, they're doing all this stuff on like the set of the James Bond movies and all these things. And then Nagini was a football taped to a yardstick. It just, how did that happen? That cracks me up so hard. You can find a really funny interview with Danny Radcliffe where he's like, all these things, and then this is what this was. And I'm like scared of this. I mean, like acting chops on point, but it just cracks me up of like the things that they were like, this is gonna have all of the money. And so this will be mine.
Yeah, this is fine. We'll CGI it. You just talk to the football.
It's whatever.
You run away. You run away from the football.
Cracks me up.
Yeah, I love that. Like, yeah, the low tech ways before you add in all the CG is just, yeah.
But like for specific moments, some moments they went like really hard, and then other moments you're like, lazy.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. I love that. As someone who didn't read the books, man, oh man, was I pissed when Hedwig gets killed. I was immediately so upset when that happens right away. It was traumatizing.
And you don't even get in the books too. He loses his fireball. He loses everything, all of his possessions, but his wand.
Yep.
Are immediately gone.
Yep.
Like immediately.
Yeah.
Like his clothes, like the Hedwig, everything. It's like, okay, right. We're starting them off real strong.
Yeah. Feeling great.
Excellent.
Feeling great. I missed the Burrow, the wedding prep, and I get why I get it.
Yeah.
I missed that, the family together and them kind of scheming around. I missed that. I missed the joyous time before everything happened.
Right. Because we didn't really get that for we didn't get Harry's birthday party.
Yeah.
Which is something that happened in the books.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was still, some tension with Molly Weasley and being like, you're not doing what I think you're doing.
Yeah.
In the books that I'm fine with not having in the movies. But yeah, there wasn't that stunning build up before, because they also cut some scenes. There were scenes where Crumb and Hermione danced. That were, and Ron like looking over.
Yeah.
Just pining. That wasn't there. We miss out on like Ron's book for ladies that he was giving.
Yes. Yeah.
It was just like super
really
endearing.
Sweet. Yeah.
And like as if he's being sneaky to Harry. Like, I'm going to use this on the ladies, as if he's not talking about Hermione. Like, okay, sir. You're not being sneaky, but whatever.
Sure.
Yeah, we miss a lot of that. And I do, though, appreciate that. Something I love that they added in the movies that I wish were in the books is that Madame Maxine is at.
I love that so much.
And of course she would be at the wedding.
Sense.
It makes sense. She was important to Fleur. And like, why wouldn't she be? I think there's that cute moment of like her and Hagrid like,
yeah, I love it.
I don't know. That was really sweet. I think her dress was stunning. I know it wasn't movie or book accurate, but it was beautiful. I think it was really cool. I did miss too the links, because we don't really get that. I don't know if it reads that is a Patronus telling them.
Yeah.
You just get Kingsley's voice. Now, don't get me wrong. The visual effects of that Patronus coming and telling them that the Ministry has fallen is absolutely breathtaking.
Yeah.
I just wish that it was a lynx.
Yeah.
That had that coming out of it, because then you would see, okay, these are the other uses of Patronus, because I don't think we get that as much.
Yeah.
Because the Patronus is a very powerful, a very powerful spell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would be cool to see, but it's, still visually like, breathtaking.
There's a very small detail in the wedding that makes me upset, because why change it? It just doesn't make sense. First of all, Muriel is not nearly as drunk enough. We only get her for like a hot second. Yeah, because she's used very much for dumping of Dumbledore gossip, which she does in the book, but you get more personality from her in the book, which you just don't get. You don't have time for it. I get it, but I love Muriel. Listen to that.
Oh my gosh, yeah, she cracks me up.
So she's not nearly drunk enough, which I, but she says Rita Skeeter's book in 800 pages, and it's very specifically 900 pages in the books. I'm like, why change it? Why would you make, like, I don't know why. It's not like that's such a little thing.
This bothers me.
Yeah, like, it's 8 so much better than
Welcome
9.
to the fandom, India.
Yeah, I'm like, why? Why do that? Like, I don't. Yeah, that's. And then I got upset when Hermione's like, we didn't celebrate your birthday. I'm like, yeah, you did. We just didn't get to see it. Like,
right, and also you did not plan it in the books.
That's what she's taking. Like,
it was not you and Ginny.
So it makes it, I didn't like it.
Speaking of Ginny, there are so many. There's so many uncomfortable Ginny Harry moments in these movies. So many. And I appreciate that this one in this movie is purposefully uncomfortable. I think it is so funny. It reads so well that they like start to kiss. And it works. It totally works. They're like cutting things short. So I think it was really, really organic and really well done that she's like, they're starting to kiss after he like zips up her dress and they have this really sweet moment of like needing a wedding at this time.
Yeah.
And then George just like being there with Coffee,
sticks a toothbrush in his ear hole. Like,
just being a snot.
Yeah.
It was just pristine. I loved that moment. I think it was lovely.
Yeah.
It was the right amount of awkward, especially since they like have all these not supposed to be awkward, but awkward moments. That was really quite excellent. And I did love it. And you could tell the actor was like, this is my favorite scene in the whole darn series. Like, this is it. This is my moment. Like truly enjoying. Like being in that moment.
And the zipping up someone's dress is just such an intimate thing. So what a good way to balance like the desired intimacy between the two of them that they have chosen not to. Like, it was there's a lot that we miss from that relationship that they summed up in a very good little moment in this movie. So I did appreciate that. Because she does kiss him in the book. She,
for sure, very differently.
Very differently. It's a very different vibe because she like
weird,
is not embarraed at all when she gets caught with that. So, but I enjoyed.
Here's my birthday gift to you.
Yeah.
Happy birthday. I think this was a really excellent way to to tie that all up. I do miss though in the which is just more of that like making it that I don't. I get it that Emma Watson and Daniel Radcliffe, when you see them, they have a little more like on-scene, like on-set chemistry. But then they're just like given more to work with, which is frustrating because then it continues to lead to this like, why on earth are Ron and Hermione together? Because we do miss in the books, she screams for him because he is not there and they're trying to flee the wedding when the Death Eaters are arriving. And she is screaming for Ron. Because she is so scared to leave without him. And we don't get that. It is a very like bada bing, bada boom. Here we go. Here we all are. Goodbye. And now we're here where, you know, her parents have taken holiday and they do all that. And it's very cool. Also, I don't want to see Hermione on a cappuccino.
No.
I feel with how like, she is at like without caffeine.
Yeah.
Can you imagine Hermione with a cappuccino?
No, not at all.
Wowie.
I'm glad that she never gets it. I do.
For sure.
I adore the ignorant waitress listening to music.
Oh my gosh, that was so fun.
It's just such a good, fun moment.
And it
looking through the window.
The mood. Yeah, it's one of those like this could be. I mean, this movie they could have gone very dark with it, as we've talked about, where they've like cut things back and stuff. So to have the dark, terrifying moment still be happening and adding this one thing that really makes it not as scary was really smart and very well done.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate that light mood and also a reminder of magic in a Muggle world because they end up being in the Muggle world for a while. I really like that. And I did enjoy learning about Hermione's like different places she camped. With her family. I did think they did a very good job of very short montages of how long they've been waiting around. And like I think they did a good job with the time.
That was beautiful. The places they picked to film at, but everything like visually, this movie was phenomenal. It was beautiful. The different locations they went to, like everything, it just felt magical. And while they were traveling, something that I really, really enjoyed, which I don't know who was at the bottom of this. I don't know if it was a sound designer or if it was the director himself, but when they're introduced to the Horcrux, that just grinding, crunching, high-pitched glass sound was so powerful and strong because you were seeing it, like it was forcing you to feel what Ron was feeling as you see him deteriorate wearing this necklace, watching them together. By the time he left, because of the help of that sound and everything, like because in obviously it takes place over a lot longer time in the books, but in the movie, by the time he left, you felt for him. You were like, you bit. I can't stand this either right now.
Well, that's it's the whole sequence of him being turned into the like getting crazed by the locket. I think is really well done because we start seeing we start kind of shifting the point of view to him, because we see all these little highlights of them like giving each other water and all these things. So the director gave it to Ron's POV, and I'm like, that's exactly what we needed.
It's 100%. Him walking through that trailer park where it's destroyed was devastating. And he's seeing, like you said, giving him the water and everything, and he is just you see the bags under his eyes.
Yeah.
And the sound is getting louder and louder until it breaks upon his frustration and being like, I'm out. I'm done. You guys, you are clearly good without me. He doesn't know what he's doing. Yeah. And Ron does make some pretty excellent points.
Yeah.
Like it's just the Horcrux like pulls out of him and expands upon things he's already thinking.
Yeah.
But makes them where his normally very large heart can see past that stuff.
Yeah.
Damps that down so he can't. It's beautiful.
It's really well done. I really enjoy getting Ron's perspective on that and getting that shift, because otherwise it would look like he's being crazy. So I did enjoy seeing that through his eyes.
No, you first. If you're still talking about, go on.
No, I have another fun fact. So you
okay.
You go.
So I have a scene that kind of relates to what we were talking about. That I liked the scene, but there's moments of it that I'm like, why do we do this? Yep. So the scene itself is, which I think is a very sweet and endearing moment. Ron is gone. Like you see Harry has grown some stubble, like Hermione is exhausted. They're all just, the two of them have been traveling now alone for a while.
Yeah.
And I do love that they added a scene into the movie where they put on the music, which maybe it took a long time to find the right song. And I think it's beautiful. It's bittersweet and them just poorly dancing together.
So sweet.
So sweet. And it's this moment of release and them being, because they are just kids.
Yeah.
They're 17 years old and they're doing these terrible, like this terrible job that they have to do. And you know, it's just a beautiful moment. The only thing I didn't like about that moment is I don't think I needed the sexual tension.
Yeah, I know they purposefully put it in
they
as
did.
Like a question mark.
But I don't think we needed it.
No, it really just needed to be platonic. Like, man, when you're in the darkest of times, you can't constantly be in torment. You have to find a way to live through the day and brighten up a little bit. And this is after Ron's left, so she, and even in the books, is just a wreck the entire time Ron is gone. So I really appreciated that moment, but I agree with you. I didn't need the sexual tension, because when I watched it without reading the books, I truly did not understand why she was not with Harry. When I read the books, I'm like, oh, obviously it's Ron.
Harry has never ever been interested in Hermione.
Yeah.
He, don't get me wrong, he admires her a lot.
Yeah.
But you miss all that, because especially how they talk about in the movie, it's always, oh, well, you know, Hermione breaks off first because she needs to be true to her heart and needs to be with Ron. And it's like, so Harry's not also like just, he literally, before he left the Burrow, had the thought of marrying her. Marrying Ginny. He's still like, that is not over. He is settled in his thought that when they survive this, if they survive this, they will be together. And this is just broken up for now for her safety. Like, neither of them would have done this. So that I was like, I love the scene. So nostalgic. Every time that song plays, it like hurts my heart in a beautiful way. I just didn't need that little edge of like sexual tension. I don't.
That was for like the people who haven't read. I feel like it was for the moviegoers who hadn't read it and just wanting that little bit of extra like drama. But I don't think we needed it.
But beautiful.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Okay, what was your fun fact?
My fun fact is, and this kind of goes to like the low tech versus high tech stuff, is I saw an interview, or like a segment of an interview where the guy who plays Fenrir Greyback was like so excited for the moment where Hermione and him are facing each other, and then they turn the camera around, she's gone, and then she pops back. Like, it's beautifully done. He's like, I was so ready for like, is there like a green screen we're gonna do? He's like, I thought it would be really technical, and he's like, and then she just dropped out of frame, like she just bent down. So the actor was like ready for like this cool technical thing, and all she had to do was just bend down because
get out of frame.
Yeah. And then pops back up. Like it was so low tech.
The actor who plays Fenrir Greyback, you have to look up his interviews because it's so funny. He's not in many of the movies.
Yeah.
And you can tell he was just thrilled to be in this movie.
Yes.
And like, he got some decision making in what he was wearing.
Mm-hmm.
And he said he made a mistake when he was doing that because everyone else was wearing like boots and heavy things because they're running around the woods. They're this is like really epic battle scene where they're running around, they're chasing kids, and it's really cool. And he was like, no, I want to look really hot. I want to look really good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So he picked these boots that were women's boots that had no treads.
Oh no.
So by the end of filming, and he was like, that was a mistake because then they filmed that over the course of days.
Yeah.
You know, so that wasn't just like a one shot wonder where he was wearing these very uncomfortable shoes running through the woods. No. This was like weeks of him running through the woods in these very uncomfortable shoes. So that was, that was one of his silly, like this will look great. But maybe it didn't think it through. Another moment, which is super cool in the movies that he did. But then he realized a mistake shortly after. So, and this is such a cool actor thing, like how he describes it in this interview. He's like, so he's in a scene with Bellatrix, and Bellatrix, this is when she sees the sword of Gryffindor and she is
freaks out.
This is like they're gonna be killed. So she uses her wand and like magics everyone away.
Yeah.
Now in the script he was just supposed to be hit like collapsed. There's like a little snake thing, whatever.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, Helena Bonham Carter is bringing it. She is bringing it. I don't want to like fall into the background of this scene. Like I want to stand up with her. Like what? So he decides, he's like, I'm going to do a big old jump unplanned. He's going to do a big old spin jump. So he does it in the first take. Yeah. Throws himself in the air, does a barrel roll, falls on the ground. Everyone cheers. They're so excited. They're like, cool. And they're like, okay, we got to do like 30 more times. Because they have to like shoot from different angles and do all things. So then that was where he also realized I've
made a terrible mistake.
It looks super cool, but yes, he had to have the stunt coordinator had to come in and help and was like, yeah, let's like work on that and make it cool. But then he had to do it a million more times.
Yep.
But it paid off in the end. Did he probably need to bathe in Epsom salts for the next 2 weeks? Also, probably yes.
Yes. Very much so.
But I loved that the actors in that moment, and I'm sure in many others, like really, really fed off each other. Yeah. Like this is what she's bringing to the table. I need to meet that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's so cool. You can tell that there was a really strong cast. Yes. That they were able to do that and build off each other because it only makes it cooler. Yeah. And there's another little bit of, if you see, they did this like special, by the way, all the DVDs that I own for Harry Potter, I thrifted. So you can easily find all of them everywhere because they were so popular. And I own a very old copy of this, and Warner Brothers, I guess I did not know at the time, because I just like saw them in theaters. They did it like a talk through of the movies.
Oh, I love those director commentaries.
Yeah. But it's like, they call it something fancy. I don't really know. Yeah. So they often like cut the movie. They talk about things. They have different people come in, different actors. And so there is the scene in Malfoy Manor. The actor who plays Lucius Malfoy speaks through the whole scene, which is super, super cool. Yeah. Because not only are you getting obviously the little background information, like during one of the scenes, he like rolls into, which he did not have to do, but he like rolled into the fireplace because his kids were on set that day.
Yeah.
You literally don't see in the movies.
Yeah.
But like from an awkward up shot, he was like, look, I did that.
Like I did it.
My kids saw it. And that's all that matters.
Yeah.
So you get those like funny moments, but you also get to hear his thought process of what Lucius is going through during this whole scene, which is super, super cool.
Yeah.
You see, like he talks through his motivations through the scene, which I think is really interesting. Because you don't get that a whole lot in like interviews or things like that.
Yeah.
So through the whole scene, you hear him talk through, okay, Bellatrix is running his house right now and he's pissed about it.
Oh yeah.
And him going through it, you see when shit hits the fan, he's like, and he hides. He doesn't need to be here for this. I'm hiding. Lucius doesn't want to be hurt. He doesn't want to be hit. And then him again, this beautiful moment in the movie where he pulls out, he keeps forgetting that he doesn't have his wand.
Yeah.
keeps forgetting.
Yeah.
And so when he pulls out, because Voldemort did snap the tip off his wand, the snake, Lucius, to keep up pretenses, keeps it attached to his cane.
I like that.
So there's that beautiful moment of he still thinks he has control and he doesn't, and he pulls his wand on them, and there's that very satisfying lack of a wand.
Yep.
And he gets blasted away. But I do highly recommend, if you can find that somewhere, his commentary of what's going through Lucius's mind.
Yeah.
During that scene, because he does even make a point. He's like, in this moment, he would sacrifice his son for his own motives.
Yeah.
And that, like,
which is not what Narcissa is
that
thinking.
is the difference between Narcissa and you. That is what
Narcissa would sacrifice you, sir.
Yes. She will sacrifice everyone for her son. Like, get it, girl. So, that was really fun. That was really fun to watch.
I did enjoy a fun fact about thinking about clothing and the horrible choices of that. The actress who played Luna picked all the clothes for Luna, and like her little like dance thing she came up with, and it was just really sweet that she got to kind of clothe Luna.
It's awesome, and Luna feels so organic, and real.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really like it. And speaking of clothing, we don't get this as much in this movie. You get it more in the next movie, just because you see him more often. The costume designer designed it so that Voldemort loses a layer of green every time a Horcrux is destroyed.
Well done, designer.
Isn't that cool?
Well done. Love stuff
super
like
cool.
That.
So you only see a little bit of it in this movie because not too many are but in the next movie you do see that a lot, and I think that is absolutely brilliant. What a beautiful, subtle choice. A plus.
I have another costume thing.
I
am very upset that Dobby is not in like cute shirt or like a sweater. He is in his sack still. We know he has a collection of socks.
Yeah, where are all his socks? He's mismatching socks, some hats.
He does get little shoes. Yeah, he got little shoes, but I wanted like the knee-high socks like that don't match, and I wanted him in like a cute little sweater or two, you know, but he's in his sack still. That's ridiculous. So I was upset. I was upset.
Speaking of that, so they made a body of Dobby. And David Yates, when he was like bringing him on set, he was carrying him, and he's like, yeah, this feels like a dead body. And everyone who saw it was like mortified and upset because it was Dobby. And up until this point, he's primarily CGI. So this is one of the few.
It's like a little ball on a stick, you know.
Yeah, he's like tactile in this moment. There is or in case if you're Lucius Malfoy, then you're just put him wherever you want because you
just kick in the air
all over the place. There is nothing. But this is the first time that he is fully and completely tactile, and he has a limp dead body. And that is the saddest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
For the first time Daniel Radcliffe gets to hug Dobby.
Oh, after pretending and imagining and
body. Like, I am tearing up. That makes me so sad.
Yeah. That's
it makes it more real. It pulls them into the moment more, but it is incredibly sad because it is what a devastating end. To that movie.
It was that was the perfect place. That was a good arc to get through in part one. That was just I forgot how much I cheered for Dobby in the movie. Just the way he's presented and how quickly he helps, the lines he gets. I'm like, you really, really cheer for him, and then to have him sacrifice himself is just brilliant. It's just so sad. I was so upset. Like, I was not prepared for any of that.
No, especially right away that like Dobby will always be there to help Harry. Will always be there to save Harry. Like, So that was smart to put that in one full thing because I think the impact is harder. Obviously in the books you don't have that because you just like race right through. But it's
good. It was good. The Bathilda skin suit was just as terrifying as reading it when I finally read it. It was so gross. I do love they put in her putting flowers on the parents' grave. That was a really sweet, touching moment.
I do miss the house though. I miss I miss seeing the house because I don't think that would have taken very long.
The plaque and
but reading that plaque and that is a huge moment for Harry.
Yeah,
because in this stress of him being person number one, like public enemy number one and all these things, to see that plaque where everyone has handwritten notes of like, we're here for you. And like some of them looking fresh and new. Like I did miss that. But I think it is a beautiful scene of like, they do capture the, oh my gosh, I think it's Christmas.
Yeah.
And then walking hand in hand together. Like that all felt, that scene was beautifully platonic.
Yeah.
In a way it needed to be. And I love that for both of them. I love that friendship for them. I love them being there for each other and being like, we are all we have right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that was really, really great. And then just Bathilda with like the buzzing flies and the gross.
I'm sad that Dean didn't show up in the cell too. He wasn't there.
Yeah, I understand Luna wasn't like, everyone was more functional too.
Yeah.
But like Luna wasn't that. Like she is a little more powerful when you find her because she is truly keeping everyone else alive.
Yes.
And doesn't seem the case as much in the movie, but I get it. Yeah, Dean would have been nice.
Yeah, to add in
have there because also you see them catch bodies.
Yeah.
So how crazy would that have been if it was like a glimpse of Dean in an earlier moment where the Snatchers first smell her perfume?
Yeah.
And like do that and walk away. And then, oh my gosh, that was Dean. Like
that would have been great.
That would have been kind of cool.
Yeah, that would have been, and you would have gotten a little bit more of how long people are in there. You would have felt it a little bit more of how long they've been in Malfoy Manor's prison.
Because you don't get that in the movies as much.
There's not time. There's also not time to see like Pettigrew doesn't get his redemption quote unquote moment before choking himself in the books. Like I get why they didn't put that in.
Yeah, that would be quite. Yeah, there's some things that like when it translates to film, it's a little darker and scarier.
Yeah.
And that's definitely one of those moments.
I wrote down one of the lines from Dobby is just, Dobby never meant to kill, only maim or seriously injure.
And that's straight from the book too.
It is. It's just so good.
Love that.
Yep.
And him taking the wand from Narcissa too. Like visually seeing that was beautiful. That was a fully freeing moment. And he did at that moment, not only was he free, but he has now disarmed his master. I love that. Love that more.
Fun fact, Warwick Davis plays Flitwick and Griphook. In this movie. He didn't play it the first movie, but he did it.
No, but he also likes Griphook more. He says that there was more about Griphook that he could dive into than he ever could with Flitwick, which is a bummer because in the books, there's a little more about Flitwick.
Yeah.
But he was very excited to play Griphook and like really dive into that. And why not? Why not use him?
It's really
he's there and very talented.
It's full makeup. Like it was great. And we get him more in the next movie, but it was cool that he got to play both of them.
Honestly, he's played 3 characters. He's played 3 characters at this point.
Yeah, because the first Flitwick was so different.
Well, because it wasn't Flitwick, it was the choir master.
Oh, that's right. Because they just made him. It was so weird that they kept that bizarre look. It was he's played so many characters now. Oh, it was good. I understand why the grave was helped dug by all of them and that they were all part of it, because in the books Hermione gets immediately taken inside because she is so traumatized by
Harry
being
wants
tortured.
to do it himself.
Yeah, and that's what I
voluntarily he wants to do it the old way. He wants to do it himself.
So I understand in the movies why they didn't really have the time to have just him do it and then everyone come out.
Right.
But it because Hermione seems a lot better than she should be at the end of part 1.
For sure.
Yeah. But I did really love Luna closing the eyes. I'm
glad they kept that.
Yeah. That was really important in the books to happen. I'm really happy that she's the one who does it in the movie.
It makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It's really simple. I love that. And then you have the beautiful finding Dumbledore's body, and you have the preview of part 2. You know, it was well done.
Something we haven't talked about that I just want to talk about before we wrap it up. Is the Ministry of Magic. This is where something that I thought was very cool, because you don't get this in the movies, and I think they beautifully did this. The fall of the Ministry of Magic and how it is taken over. You see him set up Voldemort set up who the next Minister of Magic will be.
Yep.
And talks to him and hints at it at the beginning of the movie. And then later you find out that he is. You see the statue change when they're there. It's just that whole just montage moment is just beautifully done, where he Ron runs into his dad, and like you have like it's just so cool.
Umbridge is back.
Umbridge is just visually that is stunning. Seeing them making the Muggle notices. The whole thing is so cool. I also love how they deteriorated Harry back into himself.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Not tell lies. I think it's cool.
Yeah,
visually it was very cool.
It visually was really well done. It makes no sense that they all don't pop out the same time. Really,
no, it doesn't make any sense. No.
But how it was, and like that Ron kisses her, and then like that. It all it's cool.
Does Ron kiss the most people in this movie? In these movies in general?
1, 2, at least 3.
He kisses 3 people.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. But Harry has 2. Harry has 2.
Harry has 3.
Harry has 3. Jenny, Cho,
Hermione,
and Hermione.
In the Horcrux.
In the
he's
the
very
dream.
proud of that. He made he's like, I kissed Emma Watson. Yes, you did, Andrew. Yes, you did. I'm so glad you're so proud of that. Okay, so the 3 of them together. Yeah. The 2 of them have kissed 3 people each.
Yeah.
Of the trio. Okay. Just I mean, granted, one of them was like not really him, but still him.
Yeah.
Cracks me up. But yeah, that whole thing I love, like Pius coming out and like all the things are coming at him, and he's like stubbornly walking through them to like, these are my wand movements. And to get away. Yeah. Like it's, I don't know. That was, you felt the stress. You felt the stress, especially after that like really silly moment with Ron and like kissing the wife and like, I don't know. Yeah. And then they run out and he immediately like that. They have that stress. They immediately try to go back to Creature, but then instead Ron gets splinched.
Oh, it's so gross.
They had to go for it. The whole chest and arm to make it look real. Well I mean, it was, and just her trying to get it together. It just, the tensions of that were really, really excellent. Cause you're like, oh, they did it. They got it. It's great. It's great. No, it's not.
No, everything's wrong.
Everything is still bad. Like this is, we are not done.
Yep.
And I think that build up to there was really, was really, really cool.
Yeah. It was everything. I was thoroughly impressed rewatching the books with more of a specific eye on them for these after hours, just seeing the progression of the maturity of the story, and then also the ability of how far they went dark into this. And I really liked it. And the fact that they actually got to do most of the story because they split it into 2 parts.
So smart. So smart. I think that was brilliant. It was needed. Yeah. Because a lot happens. And it has to happen. Like you can't cut things out. You have to get all the Horcrux moments. You have like it's and something that the movie can do that the book couldn't is the book you do have to kind of like snail through them hiding for like 50% of the book and traveling and setting up all the curses. And something that the movie could do better than the book is just visually do that for you. Yeah.
Montage it,
which was just stunning.
Yeah. I was very happy with this interpretation of the book. I thought it was really well done. It found some lightness in it. It had some good additions to it that didn't take away from the story. Yeah. It was well done. I enjoyed it. Good.
Me too. Said it like that, like an absolute weirdo.
And we will be doing the part 2 one, but you have to join our little queen level of our Patreon to figure out what we think of part 2 and all the other movies. So thank you for joining us for this little special after hours for all of you.
For the spooky season.
For spooky season. And have a wonderful Halloween, All Souls Day, whatever you celebrate. And this was fun. Thanks for joining us.
See you next time, friends. Bye.
Bye.